Welcome to Kiwanis College. This presentation is primarily designed as an orientation into the Kiwanis family for new or prospective members. But it also can serve as a useful refresher course for any member who seeks reminders or new information into our history, our objectives, the structure of Kiwanis from the day we began to today's Kiwanis, from the club level to our global scope. While this program introduces you to the basics of Kiwanis, it is recommended that your own local club explain its own unique traditions. So, how did Kiwanis begin? Its formation in 1915 was based on ideas nowhere related to the Kiwanis we know today. Take a look at the following 5-minute presentation highlighting the initial creation of our organization.
Detroit, Michigan, December 7, 1914. The war in Europe was 4 months old, but Americans were involved elsewhere. Henry Ford had a new assembly line for Model Ts and was paying an amazing $5 for an 8-hour day. The Marconi Wireless Telegraph Company was experimenting with the first radio music box. And Alan Simpson Brown, a salesman with a flair for organizing, was about to embark on an adventure with a new friend, the merchant tailor Joseph G. Prance. They met at Prance's shop.
Ellen, I think your new club should be a businessman's organization. I can tell you from experience, you're not going to be able to organize these men on the basis of insurance benefits.
Well, I agree, Joe, and I don't think that we should waste any time. I have an application form right here. What do you say?
And so Joe Prance gave Brown a $5 membership fee, and the Supreme Lodge Benevolent Order Brothers came into being. Fortunately for Kiwanians today, early members took exception to being called BOBs, or Bobs, and changed the name to Kiwanis, an Indian word that meant, we have a good time, or we trade. While Prance grew to dislike the idea of a club based on we trade as a motto, Brown loved it. He told each prospective member,
Well, you can expect a profit in business through patronage you'll receive from your fellow members.
And the pitch worked. The Detroit club had 250 members within a few months. But troubles grew as fast as the membership rolls, and the members split over the philosophical purpose of the club, business and self-interest, or altruistic service. In mid-July of 1915, Prance called a showdown.
I call this meeting to order. Brown, you must answer for this. You have created an organization without value to our community. Your we trade philosophy is bankrupt.
I'm disgusted. Personally, as far as I'm concerned, I'm through.
With Brown gone, the Detroit club found the real future of Kiwanis, and it centered on a 5-year-old boy named Walter. The son of a broken home, Walter came to the attention of Joe Prance and other Kiwanians who legally adopted him, changed his name to Walter Kiwanis, and took care of him in a foster home for many years. The boy became the symbol for the humanitarian ideals that made the Detroit club famous. Meanwhile, Brown was busy hustling in Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Rochester, and other cities, using the legal rights he still had to the Kiwanis name and emblem. Within a year, he chartered a total of 20 Kiwanis clubs in the East and Midwest, including the Hamilton, Ontario Club in Canada, giving the organization international status. But Alan Brown never stopped creating trouble, and it all came to a head at the 1919 convention in Birmingham. On a historic Wednesday morning in May, Kiwanis bought itself from Alan Brown in a dramatic session during the Birmingham convention. Members who were tired of his fast-dealing ways contributed $17,500 to buy his contract and sever all relationships with him and his philosophy. As delegates filed from the Birmingham Convention Hotel, a note scribbled on the bulletin board heralded the future. We serve. With the war behind, people set out in the 20s to celebrate. Consumers dug out their wartime savings to buy everything the modernized assembly line could turn out, while a new wave of advertising fueled the economic engine. The Charleston, the Speakeasy, and the radio symbolized the glitter of the era. 1920 was an important year for Kiwanis, too. The club needed a new motto, and no one did more to raise awareness than O. Sam Cummings, the first international secretary and a pivotal man in Kiwanis history. He made sure the issue appeared on the International Board's agenda in January. Roe Fulkerson, editor of the Kiwanis magazine, was the one to find the solution. Later, he described his feelings.
I have written for you probably 100,000 words, every one of which has been forgotten, save two. God inspired me to write those two. We build.
The final victory for the concept of a service organization came at the Constitutional Convention in Denver, 1924. Here was the creation of the 6 objects Kiwanians know today, including the most famous, to give primacy to the human and spiritual rather than to the material values of life. And this was truly more than words. That same convention created the standing committees that continue to make those words a reality today.
A snapshot review from our beginnings is symbolized by this historical marker that's located in Detroit, Michigan, that marks our birthplace. How about those earliest logos once we swapped the name of Bob's to Kiwanis? At one time, we even used the Kiwanis Hornet as an identifying logo. Chances are your club's board of directors takes on a much different look from the very first board of the Kiwanis Club of Detroit. Fortunately for us, leadership was transferred from the Allen Brown philosophy to George Hickson, our first Kiwanis president and the only who served for 2 years. It was Hickson who paved the way to a vision of one day becoming global, with a clear focus on service to mankind. Now that you have seen a glimpse into the infant stages of Kiwanis, what does today's organization offer you and your membership? Well, with 100 years of historical development, the remaining portion of this Kiwanis College course is all about Kiwanis now and how you fit into the picture as a valued Kiwanian. First, you are supported by an international organization that started over 100 years ago in Detroit, January 21st, 1915. And it has spread worldwide to some 80 countries, and then divided into some 50 districts, including every state in the USA. Your club is among some 8,300 Kiwanis clubs that encompass a total membership of about 250,000 servants of Kiwanis. With the addition of our youth programs totaling another 7,800 clubs, that accounts to over 500,000 volunteers who wear the Kiwanis K at the end of the first century. The leadership chain for Kiwanis is headed by an international president, elected for a 1-year term at annual Kiwanis International Conventions by delegates from clubs like yours. The president follows a Kiwanis journey that began with joining just like you, then likely became a strong local club officer, and then moved up the ladder. The president presides at International Board of Trustees sessions, where policy-making and governing decisions are made. These 15 trustees are elected from regions throughout the world. Joining this policy-making group is an executive director that runs the day-to-day operation of Kiwanis. All of the officers on the international level are elected at conventions where delegates from clubs like yours cast their votes. For further information into the world of our international Kiwanis, many members frequently visit the resources available at our website, Kiwanis1.org. This site is actually a spin-off of our home site of Kiwanis.org for the universal contact with the general public. Kiwanis One, then, is dedicated to the specific membership needs. Or you may simply prefer to call the home office at 1-800-KIWANIS. Most members find helpful guidance by selecting the menu option Member or Club Services. Kiwanis will also stay in touch with 8 issues a year of the high-class Kiwanis magazine, delivered to your mailing address. So take a moment to note these valuable resources. Like our organization, the international office has progressed through the years, beginning with a small 1-room, 1-volunteer staff in Chicago. to today's spacious and proud headquarters complex on the North Loop in Indianapolis, Indiana, opened in 1982. This attractive home office building includes a state-of-the-art theater for a variety of Kiwanis family gatherings and conferences. This facility welcomes any Kiwanis member should you be traveling in the Indianapolis area. Take a tour. Note that our present motto, Serving the Children of the World, is symbolized within the stainless steel centerpiece sphere with silhouettes of frolicking children linking hands from many lands. As to Kiwanis mottos, several ideas were tossed around in the beginning days, but in 1920, delegates approved the motto of We Build. This motto stood for some 85 years. But as Kiwanis slowly but surely entrenched its purpose to serve children, the motto of today, Serving the Children of the World, was officially approved by convention delegates in Hawaii in 2005. As the first century moved through its final years, Kiwanis leadership developed its defining statement to place in a short phrase just how Kiwanis members might answer the question, so what is Kiwanis all about? So this was the outcome. Kiwanis members are invited to use the essence of these words to explain our existence. It reads, Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to improving the world one child and one community at a time. It is now established as a familiar print and verbal statement in the Kiwanis communication. Also familiar to most Kiwanians are the 6 objects of which Kiwanis members are asked to base their beliefs and membership in the organization. When an original set of objects was scrapped in 1924, the current 6 standards, which we live by today, have stood the test of time. Attempts have always failed to change or alter the now established objects. Many clubs state or present these objects at special occasions and gatherings, especially inductions for new members. So now, allow 6 Kiwanis members to recite them for you.
To give primacy to the human and spiritual rather than the material values of life.
To encourage the daily living of the Golden Rule in all human relationships.
To promote the adoption and the application of higher social, business, and professional standards.
To develop by precept and example a more intelligent, aggressive, and serviceable citizenship.
To provide, through Kiwanis clubs, a practical means to form enduring friendships, to render altruistic service, and to build better communities.
To cooperate in creating and maintaining that sound public opinion and high idealism which make possible the increase of righteousness, justice, patriotism, and goodwill.
So now that you have some understanding of how Kiwanis originated and the basics of the organization operation and its guiding principles, let's take a look at our own Texas-Oklahoma district. TO, as it's commonly referred, organized as one of the 50 districts throughout the world shortly after the first Kiwanis Club established in Dallas in 1918. Clubs grew rapidly in TO to somewhere around 300 at this time. After a series of donated and leased offices, the district was able to purchase its own headquarters in the heart of the Dallas-Fort Worth region in the town of Pantego. In much the same fashion as the international leadership, the district is led by an elected governor. He or she presides over representatives from throughout Texas-Oklahoma, covering divisions that make up the total landscape of our vast district. These elected representatives bring to the board table at least 4 times each year the needs, programs, issues that are brought up at local Kiwanis clubs. Those representing a division are known as lieutenant governors. They, with the governor and other officers, including a district secretary and treasurer, who are appointed by the governor, make up what the TO bylaws call the Board of Trustees. For updated information on who is just serving currently in these positions, look further into this website. The Texas-Oklahoma district, like all others, is divided into divisions, 35 of them in TO at this time, and your club belongs to one of those divisions. Near you are your neighboring clubs making up the division. Most clubs interact closely with these division alliances. Clubs often get together several times each year to exchange service ideas, get the latest information on Kiwanis topics and issues, and generally enjoy meals and fun activity. Such gatherings are called division council meetings, often hosted by different clubs and led by the lieutenant governor. Once a year, these council meetings will elect their division leader, the lieutenant governor. So how about your role? You know the Kiwanis basics now. Your club offers you opportunities to form enduring friendships, render altruistic service, and build better communities. Object number 5, as you recall. Kiwanis clubs take on a variety of profiles, sizes, and personalities. Each is led by an elected officer, a president, club secretary, treasurer, president-elect, and they, with a board of directors chosen by the membership, meet at least monthly to develop policy and establish service projects. Generally, basic committees carry out the variety of service within your community, and that brings it all down to you and your family of members. You provide the heart and the hands that make a difference. So, what about your opportunities to serve through your Kiwanis Club? Typical clubs select leaders to chair service committees, almost always beginning with programs that service the youth. Various services to the community usually gets an organization work group. Certainly, membership growth and retaining members is a concern of a working group. All clubs need fundraising programs to provide the needed service projects. Many participate in programs that offer human and spiritual values. Then there are administrative functions of the club. These are the tasks needed to support members like you, such as organizing programs, keeping supplies, inventory, song selections and direction, and then setting up the meeting facilities. Or perhaps you might best fit into working with ideas to share the Kiwanis message into the community, public relations. So now let's take a closer look at meaningful volunteer opportunities to you as a Kiwanian for serving youth. Popular for many clubs are reading programs for children's groups or at schools. Some clubs head for the playgrounds to build and service. Key Club is perhaps best known among the service leadership programs. Growing since 1925, this high school service club is the largest of its kind in the world. Before high school, students can develop their service skills in middle school's builders clubs. And it all begins in the elementary school level with K-Kids, where basic leadership potential is fostered. Closely related to the early schooling level, Kiwanians provide a Bring Up Grades program, which is often called BUG, recognizing students who raise their grades. Terrific Kids is a similar program that recognizes children's achieving self-determined goals and promotes character development. Kiwanis makes it possible for college-level students to focus on their future by belonging to the Circle K clubs. That's the premier university service program in the world. Action Clubs is the only community service club for adults living with disabilities. Again, initiative and leadership skills are developed while engaging integration back into society. Key Leader offers weekend retreats for youth, focusing on leadership development. So as you can see, Kiwanis offers a vast array of service to the young. So why not look into what you can offer your club to serve children and offer your heart and hands in serving the youth? The enormous number of programs of Kiwanis clubs around the world is limited only to the local club's imagination. Clubs like yours likely have found its most serviceable and meaningful projects already. Many sample the community annually to determine how best to take on the needed task. Kiwanis actually leads the world in total service hours over all other service organizations. That's a fact all of us in Kiwanis can be very proud. Find your passion and service in Kiwanis and be ready to hold your hand high the next time the club officers ask for volunteers to get out into the community and make a difference. A primary obligation of all Kiwanis members is to serve the club with the financial support it needs to provide service. So Kiwanis clubs are required to keep separate and distinct accounts in its operation. The administration accounts are basically the funds supplied by its members through the payment of dues to pay the administrative expenses that supports the members. Some clubs have local dues for local expenses, but part of those dues goes to Kiwanis International and the district fees paid annually. And it keeps the wheels of the organization turning and operating throughout the world. This is actually less than about $2 a week. Your club will inform you of this actual cost as you become a new member. Now, the second account is the service account. These are the funds related from the community to service the community projects. Clubs find many innovative means to accomplish this, usually providing ticketed events involving meals, lots of pancakes in Kiwanis, for example. Clubs often pick up ideas while visiting other clubs and Kiwanis conventions, along with the hundreds of ideas shared with the Kiwanis world on the international website. You will recall our first object of Kiwanis, giving primacy to the human and spiritual values of life. Your club may have a place for you to develop these missions. Kiwanis International itself has taken active missions to serve worldwide projects for the well-being of humanity around the world, such as unified efforts to combat iodine deficiency and eliminate deadly tetanus, programs saving countless lives. And then there are clubs like yours that support projects focused on the human and spiritual needs within your own community. Texas-Oklahoma District actually has a tradition of honoring a layperson of the year, someone selected on the local club level who is rated on the division and district levels. You may be the one to serve this task. We of Kiwanis believe that we have many stories to tell. More vibrant clubs have active members involved in getting our message out to the public through signage, local media, websites, and all of the developing social media means. So you may be the one with the skills to carry our message out into the public and help keep our members informed through club bulletins, email correspondence, and through club newsletters. Of profound importance is to keep our Kiwanis objective strong, and that means bringing in more hands and hearts to carry out our service missions and to retain the family members we now enjoy. As our first century of service was being introduced to the next 100 years, Kiwanis actually adopted a new member-led program to focus on our growth and ensuring our continued strength. And it's all about reminding members how much we love what we do in Kiwanis. And that love leads to our need to share it with others by invitation to come and be a part. Then, in time, it just becomes such a habit that we live it. So, love it, share it, live it has become our formula with a worldwide organization of leadership. Chances are you'll be hearing more within your own club's membership growth committee structure. And much more information and tools to assist this program are available at the international website. You'll find such tools in this short video designed to reach and attract each Kiwanis member.
There must be a lot of love out there in the world, at least if you think of all the things people say they love. But it's funny. Sometimes the things we love the most are the ones we don't talk about often enough. I mean, the things that bring true change to a child's life, to a community, to the people who come together and make change happen. Think about what you love about your club. Think about the children it reaches. Think about the pride it gives you. And think about this. Thousands of Kiwanians around the world love being members of their clubs too. So think about what could happen if we all shared our Kiwanis stories, After all, there's a million things to love in the world. But there's nothing like a love that makes the world better. So, show it. Share it. Let the world know.
So if you're considering membership in Kiwanis and you're ready to love it, share it, and live it, you're probably joining a proud club, very excited to present you with your own membership certificate and pin. Then your new family will welcome you with an eventful installation. Enjoy that moment. At the moment you begin your journey with every opportunity to make a difference in the lives of others and in your life. Now, for the current Kiwanis members joining us today, hopefully you will remember fondly your introduction to Kiwanis and the day you were introduced to a Kiwanis Club family. Today's Kiwanis College session sought to introduce Kiwanis to those considering joining, those that may have been invited as a new member to get this orientation into the organization, or those who may be well into their Kiwanis journey, just seeking reminders of why they do what they do. In any case, Kiwanis needs you, your hands and your heart. As demonstrated in this presentation, there are plenty of tasks. You have seen how you can make a difference in the lives of others. But what does Kiwanis offer you? Look again at those 6 objects so well presented earlier in this program that have been preserved through the years. The answers may be there. While building better lives for others, most Kiwanian members build a more fulfilled life for themselves. Watch for those golden Kiwanis moments, which will enrich your own life. As a final note, what is also needed in this Kiwanis movement is leadership. We need more members to step up to be club leaders in the club, division, district, and international level. So as we close this Kiwanis College course, we thank you for joining, and we ask you the question, are you the one?
How does an organization change the world, one child at a time? How does it teach them to become competent, capable, and compassionate? How does it show the generation of today that they can indeed make a difference? How does it empower the children of today so they can build the bridges to future generations? How does an organization accelerate a dynamic, expanding global network of individuals dedicated to making the world a better place? At Kiwanis, the answer is through leadership. Great leaders inspire. They instill hope. They show courage in times of uncertainty. Great leaders make tough decisions without waver. They unite individuals in a common goal. They lead by example. All Kiwanians have the ability to be leaders. In fact, by joining Kiwanis, you're showing that you want to make a difference in your community, in the lives of children, and in your own life. It's leadership that comes through service to others. And with Kiwanis, you're given the opportunity to serve and lead in ways that are far greater and far more reaching. Opportunities to lead happen everywhere. At home, at work, at school, in your community, and on many different levels, from elementary grades through college and beyond, and with life-changing results for those served and those leading. Kiwanis has been serving the children of the world since 1915 with passion, with talent, and with the resources of hundreds of thousands of Kiwanians. It is this legacy that awakens us today, because the needs of the world are greater now than ever before. We all want a better world, a better life for our children and our children's children. And the only way to achieve our goals is to do more and be more for all the generations yet to come. To make it a reality, we need leaders. Are you ready? Are you the one?